Greetings everybody, this is Lobo and welcome to episode 6 of my Minecraft survival series. We've got a lot to do today, so we're going to go ahead and get started right after I show you this. This tree right here decided to grow at the exact moment I was walking over it, so not only did I take damage, but look at its leaves. That's craziness. Anyway, today we're returning to the Enchanted Pickaxe, and if you watch the episode where I built this, episode 3 I think it was, you'll notice that at the end I was not completely satisfied with how it turned out. Among other things, I imagined it would be bigger. This is going to be one of the lowest points of our town, and it needs to be big to be seen from wherever we need to see it from. So we're going to have to do something about that. Also, it didn't translate from my head to the screen as well as I'd hoped it would. So we're going to have to play around with not only the size, but the shape, the depth, the detail as well. Now, if you'll follow me over here, you'll notice that I didn't even touch this side. And I'm just going to leave it at that for now. I'm not even going to look at it anymore. Now moving around to the back here, you can see the back is very short, it's very boring, it's very plain. So we can't spend all the time on the front of our build and then ignore the rest of it. We have to go 360. We have to make it nice all the way around. So what we have to do in this episode is renovate. So we'll go ahead and get started by tearing down everything that's not staying. Well, the old girl's not looking too good right now. She's definitely seen better days, but that's okay because we're going to fix her. And I think we'll get started with this lopsided section of wall right here, which we needed to move over by 1. So we'll pillar this support up right here, and then we'll just bring everything over a little bit to meet it in its new position. And our entryway is going to be recessed, we already know that, to break the plane of our front facade and give some depth to it. But I do want an awning over the entryway, so what we're going to do is kind of flatten out this front section. And by flatten out, I'm not talking about the whole front face. I'm just talking about the roof section right here where the awning's going to be. This 3D gap between this beam and the one behind it, that's going to be our awning. Now moving clockwise around our building, we need to do something with this side right here. So I'm just going to get this support in place. We'll get our basic framework in, and that's going to kind of inform what we can do with the wall behind it. And if this is moving a little fast, I apologize, but we got a lot to do today. Right now, all I'm really doing is getting the framework in place because we need to have the basic structure of our building down before we can start working on the facade. Now, continuing our clockwise rotation, we find ourselves at the back of the building, which I think is going to kind of mirror the front. It's not going to be exactly the same, but it does have to be cohesive. Now, this structure I'm putting in right now, it's either going to be an entryway that protrudes from the wall, or it's going to be an awning kind of like we did in the front. I haven't decided yet. But like I said, we're just getting the basic framework in place, so we're going to do that and leave it alone. And by the time we come back around to do the rear facade, we'll figure out what works best. And as you can see, we're not only bringing the rear out, but we're bringing it up as well. And that's because it's going to be taller. It's going to be 1 block taller than the front, and that's because this is a renovation. In my mind, this second floor is an addition. It was built after the Enchanted Pickaxe was already an established building in this town. And I don't know if this is me just compensating for it being so short and so underwhelming here in the rear before, but that kind of fits with our concept a little better. It's an old building that's had renovations done. And if we bring this all the way across, that's going to give us the basic structure of our second floor in the rear. But I'm going to go back and change out this one odd block real quick because it is really bugging me. So you can go away, and I have more spruce in here. I have a lot more spruce. Not in my inventory though. So if we jump down here and use our imagination, you can see it's already looking a lot better than it did previously. Let me go ahead and... That's right. Let me go find my wood. So as I was saying, the back is looking a whole lot better. That's all I was going to say. And we can continue to work our way around and get the framework on this side complete. And I have a pretty good idea what's going on over here already. So let me count 1, 2, 3, and then we'll pillar up this support. It's just going to be 3 from the front, 3 for the rear. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in, and I'll be back with you in a minute. So with the basic structure of this side in place, we can continue our rotation around to the front. And this is going to be the new location of our marquee. And I'm going to change up its design slightly. Okay. So as I was saying, we're going to be changing up the design of our marquee a little bit. And if you recall, when we first built this, I said it was kind of inspired by the aesthetic of a bar called Seventh Heaven in this game, Final Fantasy VII. And if you're old like me, you probably remember it. It's one of my all-time favorites. And if you recall, it had a billboard-like sign over the entrance, and that's what I want. I want a billboard. I want a billboard with a giant enchanted pickaxe on it. As ridiculous as that sounds. So like I said earlier, this is going to be one of the lowest buildings in our town, so the billboard's going to have to be up kind of high for us to be able to see it from wherever we need to see it from. So I'm just going to continue to pop these pillars in to frame our billboard, which is going to take up the entire front third story of the building pretty much. And right now I'm just kind of getting it framed out. We're not actually going to build the billboard yet. I'm going to save that for last. That's going to be a milestone that we work towards. This is going to hurt. I guess the smart thing to do there would have been to jump in the water, but I never claimed to be smart, so... Anyway, if we come down here, we can see that this billboard is not actually supported by anything, which I guess doesn't really matter since you won't be able to see it, but I do kind of want there to be some logic to this build. So we got to figure that out. And I guess we could just do something like this. We could have it supported by this beam right here that will go all the way across to the far wall. Yeah, that works. So for convenience sake for our third story, I think we're just going to start working counterclockwise. We're back on this side of the building. For simplicity's sake as well, because all we're doing is taking these studs and bringing them up a little bit. The third story on this side is just going to be a continuation of the second story, but skinnier, just these center 2 studs. Then logically we take this center support beam, we'd bring it all the way back here, and luckily it meets up with that, which is very serendipitous. Then we'll just walk over here, we'll match this side up with that side, and that'll give us a nice little square cube up top, a nice little room up here. Now that's pretty much it for the framework. Now we know roughly the size and shape of each floor, and we can start putting our walls in. Now I just realized we've talked a lot about what we're doing to this building in this episode, but we haven't talked about what this building is. So for those of you that weren't around when we first constructed this place, it's called the Enchanted Pickaxe. And I originally intended for it to be mine access, but I'm going to do something else with that, so the concept's changed just a little bit. This is going to be a place for the miners of our town to come and hang out when they're not mining. Miners with a ER, because we have child labor laws here. We'll have a bar inside, a pool table, and I think I might work a pinball machine in there just as a nod to Seventh Heaven. And that's basically going to be the whole first floor. The second floor is going to be a residence where the owner of the Enchanted Pickaxe lives. And currently that's me. I'm staying there now because I need a place to live. I need a place to hang out. This is really the only structure we've built, so it's my only option right now. Eventually, though, we will move out, and at that point, I'll probably hand my managerial duties off to some other nitwit. And there's going to be a third floor too, but the third floor is just basically going to be comprised of that one small room we built up there, which is going to be kind of a attic maintenance type area. And then later on, we're going to add a basement as well. And what the basement is going to be is kind of our bulk storage. That's where we're going to keep all the stuff we get when we're mining. And it's going to be fairly huge. What also might be down there is a tool shop. I haven't decided yet if I'm doing the tool shop on the first floor or in the basement. You know, once we get to the interior, we'll kind of figure that out. We'll work out all the details then. I did a couple touch-ups on this sidewall. Just because it's covered in dirt doesn't mean we should neglect it. But the front is pretty much done now, so we can move over here. And now we just need to figure out what we're doing here. And the answer's pretty obvious now that I think about it. We're going to put walls in, and then we're going to put windows in. And there's no need to get any more complicated than that right now. We're not working in details. We're just getting the basic structure complete. And voila. I mean, that works, right? So if we move on this way, we can have a look at it from the inside. Just make sure it looks right from in here. And yeah, I mean, that's fine. Right now, you know, we're just doing general stuff. We'll get this glass put in and we'll call it for this wall. I mean, that looks fine. Man, my throat's getting dry. I don't know if you've ever tried this, like keeping up a conversation with yourself, but it's definitely harder than it sounds. Anyway, what we're doing right now is kind of just getting the roof line in place because I want to finish up this first floor, and moving further clockwise around the building would just bring us up to the second floor. So it makes sense to get this done first. But yeah, I mean, in general, I'm not a very talkative person. I probably do more talking during the filming of one of these episodes than I do for the entire rest of the week. And that's not to suggest I don't enjoy it. I do. I really do. This is actually a whole lot of fun. It's just weird, you know, trying to keep up a conversation with yourself because you don't want to be just like, well, I'm going to break this block here and I'm going to put another block in right there. You know, it's, I don't know. It's just strange. Especially when you find yourself going on tangents that have nothing to do with what you're actually doing in the game, like I'm currently doing right now. I'm legitimately carrying on a conversation with myself. So, yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and break this, and then we're gonna pop down here and just kind of, I don't know, look at stuff. Oh, wow. Okay. You know what? Anger. It's not like you saved me from just talking randomly. Okay. Where did you even come from? It's the middle of the day. So something I think might look kind of cool is if instead of just having our roof come up to a boring little point right here, we could bring it out just a little bit. And I'm thinking we could probably hang a lantern or something from it if I can figure out how to do that. So while I'm mulling over how to do this whole lantern thing, what I think I'm going to do is get this area kind of filled out. We'll go ahead and put our window in here. I can't remember how the window looked before. I don't know if it was fancy or not, but it's going to be fancy now. We'll do this 3x3 square of glass, and then we'll put some stairs in front of it, and we'll try to arrange them in a way that's, you know, not hideous. So maybe we can put this right here, and we can put that right there, and then this right here, and then that right there. And yeah, I mean, I kind of like how that looks. So we'll do the same thing on top. All right, so that's the last block in place. So join me, won't you, as we dive into the water, and we'll circle back around to the front and see how that looks. Yeah, I like that. I can deal with that. That's gotta change. What happened there? Okay. Alright, now that we got that ironed out, we'll come back up to our roof and we'll figure out how to put this lantern in. I think we need to come out probably just a little bit further. So if I can get a slab up top and then out, and then we'll come down from there and we'll hang our lantern from that. Bump, bump, bump. Lighting. All right, well, it's not lit yet. We need a lever first. So let me grab one of these. We'll put that on the back and light this bad boy up. All right, well, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I mean, look at that lever. It's just like a weird little appendage. What we could maybe use instead is a redstone torch. No, I don't like that either. All right, so I've been playing around with this for a little bit, and I think I figured out something that's going to work. I don't like the redstone torch. I think I might have already said that, but I'm saying it again. I don't like the redstone torch up there. I definitely did not like the lever. So what we're going to do instead is put a pressure plate right here with an armor stand on top of it. And I know the armor stand doesn't look great, especially it won't look great hanging. You can tell it's an armor stand. So what we're going to have to do then is disguise it. So I'm going to pop up here real quick. And I think that should be high enough. What we can do, instead of using a slab to hang our lantern from, we can use a set of stairs. And that's going to kind of hide the neck of the armor stand. So on top of the stairs, what we can do is put a piston up here. And then if we power that piston, it'll push the stairs into the armor stand. So we just have the legs hanging out. And that's what the lantern's going to be hanging from. And I think that this will probably end up looking pretty good. You can still see like part of the neck, but I'm not sure you'll be able to see it when it's up higher. Alright, so I just pulled the switch. I haven't looked at it yet. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom and have a look at it from the vantage point that we're most likely going to have. And yes, I do like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Oh, you can still kind of see the neck. But I think if we put like a brown helmet on top of it, it'll blend in perfectly. Alright, it's a brand new day and we have officially started on the second floor. I have the front section in. As you can see, there's no walls or there's no windows in it. That's because it'll look too busy with the billboard, I think. It would look way too busy with the billboard. So we're going to go around here and start work on this side. I'm going to go ahead and get our walls and windows in place over here. And I will catch you guys in a few minutes. Alright, so we got some of our walls in place, but this isn't really an update on that so much as it is this guy right here who is either floating or flying over the water. I don't know if he's taking a note from our villagers who constantly get into my fountain, but you know you're going to rust, right? Alright, so let's have a look at it, and yeah, I mean, I said this was the easy side when we were doing our framework, and you know it is. It's very simple, it's very plain. But you know, that's because we haven't worked any details yet. I think this is going exactly how I wanted it to though. So we're going to go ahead and move around to the back now. Now this is the troubling side because this side's got to look good. This side's got to have more detail to it because it is going to be visible from the road that runs behind the Enchanted Pickaxe. So basically it's not like the sides where, you know, there's a side of a building. This is going to be a structure unto itself. And I'm not sure how I want to handle that first floor yet. That is going to be the main thing you see, and I'm unsure about it. So what I am going to do in the meantime is work on something I am sure about. So I'm going to bring this roof line up, and we're going to do this roof line much the same way as we did the front, with the lantern hanging off it to maintain a sense of cohesiveness. Alright, so we got everything in place aside from the piston. If we pull this lever, we smash everything together, and that should be it. Alright, so I've made some decisions. I dressed this area up a little bit and I have decided that I don't like it. So what we're going to do is instead of having this flat wall with an awning and kind of this like weird outstretched wall, we're just going to have the entryway protrude from the building. Alright, so we've got it mostly rebuilt. Let's back up, have a look, and you have to use your imagination, but I think that's going to work. It's a little cramped back here. That's because of this fence mostly, I think. It's you know, it's not the border to our town. It's not anything like that. It's just to protect me from getting blown up by creepers. But looking at this, I think this is going to work. Now, as far as this window above the door goes, my goal for this window is to have it not compete with the front. I don't want it too grand. I don't want it to draw people in. It's not a storefront. This is somebody's residence. So I don't want it to look too grand, too inviting. I just want it to be kind of plain, and I can't see it from over here. That's a little awkward looking. I think we can actually go a little bit smaller. We could stand to go smaller with it. So what we can do is take a couple slabs and just kind of flatten it out, make it like a rectangle. Something like that. And now we move on to this side, which is a bit of a mess. This is going to be one of the more complex sides of the building, and that's why I've kind of held off on it. What am I going to do here? Now, I have been finding it easier when I'm stuck to just work the roof lines a little bit, and that better helps me visualize, you know, the layout, what's going to go on with the facade. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I hope it works out. And here's the thing, even this side, even though this side was a huge mess, it ended up being super easy once we got the roof. I need to replace that block up there. Once we got the roof put in, we put that beam across the top, we put our studs up the sides, and that gave us the basic structure. Then after that, we could go ahead and put our walls in. Now, I think all that's really left to do on this side, for the second floor at least, is get our windows in. Couple little finishing touches, and then we can back up and have a look at it. If this looks okay, then we've got the basic layout of the second floor of our building done. And yeah, I think that looks nice. Once we work in the details, it's going to look awesome. I guess this means we can go ahead and get started on our final floor. I hope you guys didn't mind. I kind of breezed through that because we're running short on time, and it was really more of the same thing we'd already done. I didn't want to bore you too much. I feared it might be getting a bit repetitive. Anyway, we have our third story in place, we have our roof in place, and I think the last thing to do before we can start adding in details is get our billboard up. And I'm super excited about this because that will mean we're close to done. This is a milestone we've been working towards. Once we get this up, that means the bulk of our exterior is complete. So I think what we're going to do as far as construction goes is just pick a corner and start working our way out. It's not going to be a super detailed enchanted pickaxe because that would make it way too big, way too cumbersome. I think the size we had it before, the original marquee, was a pretty good size. So I think I'm just going to build from the interior of the building. Because we've already done this design and I have a pretty good idea how it's going to go. I don't think I need to see it from the outside. Basically, all we're doing is taking these spruce planks and we're stacking them diagonally, and then we're going to wrap them in oak. I believe the original design was about 5 diagonal blocks long. So we need one more in there. And that's going to give us the handle to our enchanted pickaxe. And once again, this blue stained glass is going to represent the diamond portion of our pickaxe, which will bring all the way out to the end. And then we'll head over to the other side. We'll put a block in here and bring it all the way down to the bottom. And that's the basic design of the pickaxe done. Now we can take these oak planks and start sticking our background in here. And it's going to be on the same plane as the rest of the pickaxe because it's a simple 2D billboard. We're not doing 3D moving parts or anything like that. I figure, it's a simple mining establishment. A 2D billboard is probably as fancy as they're going to get. I mean, it might be a little too fancy with the blue stained glass in there, but we're missing a blue stained glass right there. So let me go ahead and put that in there, and then that will be the basic design done. Now we can go ahead and start inserting our lighting, which we're not going to get too fancy with it. We just want the light to show through the blue stained glass a little bit. And I think since the only way you're really going to be able to see this is from the maintenance area back here, how we might activate them is just like randomly place levers around. I mean, it is a maintenance area, so there should be random levers, right? So I guess we'll throw this one up here. And yeah, that's it. So as far as details go, I've probably walked around this building 20 or so times adding a single block here, and it's... What on earth? Are you serious right now? I was almost killed by a giant slime as soon as I started recording. How bad would that have been? Go away, please. Listen, nobody wants to hear you splat, 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 okay? You guys go away too. Stop it. You stop it. Stop it. Okay. I don't even need that slime ball. I don't even need it. We have plenty of slimes down in our cave. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't remember. Let's go have a look at this together and see how we've done. I haven't seen it yet as a whole. The design I was going for was something that was once simple, dilapidated, broken, and had later been renovated, possibly overly renovated once the mine became profitable. And that's a hard concept to pull off if you're me, but that is it. That's what I wanted. That's awesome. I like that so much. My wife is going to hate that. She hates when I build like this, but this is exactly what I was going for. I like the billboard right there. Oh man, that is, yes. It's not pretty, it's not elegant, but it was never supposed to be. This is that old renovated mining building that I wanted, that I infused with some of my style, and I'm so happy with this compared to what we had before. Oh man, I like the foundation here. I like the lantern up there. The overall aesthetic is very similar, but it's the little details that make the build. I like the details that we worked in on the roof line around the window up there. I think the entryway is looking really good. If we have a peek in here, you can see that's greatly improved over what we had before. And if we go up this way, we can have a peek at this side. And I really, really like this side. The vines we worked in right there, those are going to continue to grow, I think, and connect down there with the bottom one, and we'll get more coverage, and that'll look really good too, I think. Now, the next big concern I had with our previous building, aside from the look, was the size. And now it's one of our smaller buildings, but now it's big enough to be seen, which is exactly what I wanted. Big, but not too big, Do I have a random jack-o'-lantern sticking out of my facade? Hold on a minute, I'll be right back. Alright, now that we've got that taken care of, I just noticed something else. Where did this guy come from? That's awesome. We have a white coat villager. So he is a cartographer, but that's okay because now we do have something else to trade with aside from our coal, which is awesome. Anyway, you can see this little overhang we added the whole way around, which I really like. We'll come over here, have a look at the back of it. The roof right there definitely needs something. We'll probably add a skylight once we get around to the interior. We got the foundation done back here. The back is looking 100% better. Obviously, the street's going to extend further than this. Don't worry about the fence right here. But compared to what we had before, the back is looking awesome. We'll have a look at this side over here if I can get a better viewpoint. And I really like this side as well. I like the second floor. It's skinnier than the other side. It adds a little bit more interest. I especially like the roof line up there, which is more complex than the rest of it. If we go down this way, you know, you can see the first floor. I like the nice little hourglass shape it gives us. And I originally had a window right here, but I took it out. I thought it looked better without it. I'm actually really proud of this build so far. You know, I'm glad I took the time to redo this building to do it justice. We'll work on that cliff face right there. Like that's going to be terraformed into a more gradual slope, so don't worry about that. But overall, you know, I'm thinking this is it. This is the enchanted pickaxe as it was meant to be. Now, despite how happy I am with it currently, I'm not calling this build done just yet. We still have a lot of work to do. We have to do the whole interior. We have to do the skylight in the back. We have to terraform that side. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how it's standing. Next episode, though, we are going to step away from this and we're going to do something a little more practical. If you remember, previous to this, we had a pretty bad experience in the Nether, and we need to make sure nothing like that ever happens again. So we're going to get started with Project OP Beast Mode. That's what I'm calling it. It's a tentative title. But yeah, we need to make sure we don't get demolished like that ever again. That was so bad. Anyway, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. It's been a real pleasure, whether the build was to your taste or not. I hope you enjoyed the episode at least. And if you did enjoy the episode, please consider liking or subscribing. It would mean a whole lot to me. Again, I just want to thank you guys so much. And until next time, I'm Lobo and I'll see y'all later. Oh, and before you guys go, there is one small but very critical detail I forgot. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that now. While I'm entering this text, I just want to go ahead and say that I will be debuting the first episode in my Minecraft concept series, which is going to be more or less tutorial based. I don't think tutorial is the right word for it. But anyway, I'm going to debut that on maybe Wednesday. I upload these videos on Saturday typically, so I think Wednesday might be a good day for that. So be on the lookout for it. Anyway, that was all I got, so I'll see you guys next time.